ZipForms.com.
So we're going to set up ZipForms for the first time. What's up, honey?
Now it gives me,
Your connection is not private.
exactly. Should I just hit back to safety?
No, because that's the website. So hit advance and see what happens. I'm not sure. Is security from ZipForms maybe cause proceed to ZipForms.com.
But it says unsafe.
It does say that, but that's the only way I know to get there.
Huh. What if we try a different way? You know what? Let me just try the H.
You're using Google Chrome, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can do the ZipForms.com and see if it takes us to a safe, see, and it's like attackers might be trying to steal your information for the passwords, messages, or credit cards. And I do have information here, so.
That's the only way you're going to get there, though. I mean,
Let me see, because I have the other computer right here, and this computer may let me do it safe.
You see ZipForm over to the right in blue?
Here?
At the top to the right. All the way over.
Here?
One more.
Because here is the camera. I just need to see how do I move it.
Oh, you don't see it.
No, because the camera is here. I just need to see how do I move this camera? I'm waiting.
Yeah. Hit exit order or either click on the X at the.
Ah.
All right.
Okay.
So hit close unless you want to read all that.
Now, digital ink. Create reminder, graded it for transactions, become the default for digital ink. This change. So today.
October 28th, that's today.
Hey.
Click on the Learn More button below to check out our training webinar.
Okay.
So it looks like everything now is going to be going to 2.0 as of.
Do you use this or what's the deal?
I use 1.0, but I guess now I'm going to have to figure out how to use 2.0. Since as of today, it's changing.
Yeah. See, I hate it when they change everything on us.
Just when you think you know something, then they change it. You got to relearn something else.
Exactly. So anyway, here are the upgrades.
Join us for a tour. E-signature add-on to get to know the key upgrades. Well, let's go ahead and learn how to do it.
Okay, so let's see first name. And I'm gonna use the same mail I used to log in with them. Another EXP, or what do you suggest?
It
Should I?
doesn't matter because they're just going to contact you with this email.
Okay.
So it looks like you're registering for a webinar or
Pleasure to welcome you to introduce ZipLogix Digital Inc. 2.0 powered by Authentic.
This is almost a 1 hour of video.
I see.
I
But
don't know how much time you have.
I don't know 2.0 either. So I
Okay.
don't mind looking at
Do you
it.
want? Okay.
I don't mind looking at it.
Perfect. Let's see.
To sign. This is an option that you should see effective page when we sign in. And we are going to navigate. Is everyone able to see my screen? Just want to make sure. We'll give it just a minute to switch over. Okay, cool. So from transactions, you're going to be able to see, as you're probably familiar with, all of your transaction files at a glance. Now we'll move over and navigate to the right-hand side where it says Me, and we're going to click on that drop down. And that's going to bring up a drop down that says Profile and Settings. We're going to click on that, and that's going to bring us into our profile settings. Oops, let's click out of there. And we're going to move 6 tabs over, as I was mentioning, to the Settings tab. Right over here, and we're going to configure our account to use ZipLogix Digital Inc. 2.0 powered by Authentisign. As I was mentioning when you are still seeing my topic screen, I am located in Michigan, so I would be selecting Eastern time zone from this drop down. There is the advantage now to be able to switch your time zone. So if you happen to be working in a different location, you can select the time zone that your client is located in order to have the documents reflect the accurate signature timestamps. So we'll click on that. And then we're going to click Save. So that's how you would set up your account to utilize ZipLogix Digital Inc. 2.0 powered by Authentisign. As you can see, we still have our ZipLogix Digital Inc. 1.0 option here, and there is a window of time where you can switch back and forth between the two. It's currently an undefined window of time, so we don't know yet. It's really going to depend on user feedback how long that 1.0 remains inside of the system. But right now you can feel free to toggle back and forth as you get acquainted with the new e-sign system. So a couple differences between the former ZipLogix Digital Inc. and the new one are that obviously they're powered by a different source. We are now powered by Authentisign, which means that there are certain options that may not currently be available in ZipLogix Digital Inc. And one of these includes the option to add a reviewer. Things are also looking a little bit visually different on the client-facing side, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So I'm going to return to my transactions page. And now that we've configured our account, we can start to set up an e-sign packet. So in order to do that, I am going to open up one of my transactions. We'll do this one. 6536 Bluebird Court. So I've opened it up. We're going to say, for the sake of argument, that I've already filled out all of my documents and we're ready to send documents for signature. And we'll just verify that everything is in here that we need. Can actually start with a blank canvas here, I think. And I'll just add a few forms from this demonstration library that I'm using. Obviously, this would be your state library or local board library that you're adding documents from. And then I am also going to save one of these as a PDF because as you may or may not know, in ZipLogix Digital Inc. currently, there's just a little bit of a difference between how your fillable forms behave versus what you have to do to ensure that a PDF document is properly pre-tagged for e-signature. So I'll point out that difference as we move through our e-sign process today. There are a couple different ways that you can access e-sign. The most intuitive one is right from the Documents tab. So once we open a transaction from Documents, we can just click where it says e-sign. And this is going to launch us into a window that is not really unlike what we currently see with ZipLogix Digital Inc. We would click New to create a new signature packet. And then from here, we can establish the documents we want to send for signing. And here I'm going to choose this buy-sell agreement. I'm also going to choose this PDF, incidentally, exactly the same document, but just to show you a little bit of a difference with respect to how these two documents behave inside of the system. All right, we'll go down to the bottom, click close. So you can see I've now added in these forms to send to be signed. Up at the top, you'll notice that your packet is given a standard naming convention of signature packet 1. As we create more and more signature packets within this single transaction, they will be given a standard naming convention of signature packet 2, 3, 4, and so on. And our signing service is properly configured here, so this looks good. Once you have all of your documents that you've added to the signing packet, you can go up to the upper right-hand corner and click Next. Now, from this area, you're able to enter information for your transaction parties or create a new signer. You also have the option to select from your ZipForms, as well as a number of cloud integration providers where you can pull information in from an outside cloud-based source. Today, I am going to click to add myself, the selling agent. I am also going to enter in information for our buyer 1. Normally this would already be here, but because we didn't go through and fill out our forms before we jumped into e-sign, it's just having us add that right in here, which is also a great way to add that information on the fly if for some reason you missed an area inside of one of your forms. All right. Cool. Okay, so we've added all of our signers that we need to send for e-signature. So we're going to click close. And I see that a couple questions have come in. I will circle back to those in just a moment. So you can see here that we have all of our signers shown. And we can actually still rearrange the signing order. This is also a function that is currently available inside of ZipLogix Digital Ink as it currently stands. You can switch the signing order just by dragging and dropping the signers in the appropriate order. You can also use the drop-down toggles to place them in a different order. So how we had it set up before, Bob here would be signing. Once he's finished signing, the documents would then go to Lorraine to sign. Once she's finished, then to Brenda here. But I'm going to set these all for signing priority 1 because in this case, it really does not matter who signs first and then who signs next. It is absolutely fine to have the same email address for 2 signers if Bob and Brenda, in this case, happen to be a married couple who are looking to purchase a house. It is certainly okay if they have the same email for e-signing. There will be 2 separate emails that are sent to Bob and Brenda respectively at that email address containing their signature tasks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And actually, to get to one of the questions that was just sent in, because this is relevant, someone had asked, how about simultaneous signing? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. That's just adjusting the signing order. So you can see right now, Bob, Brenda, and Lorraine are all set up to sign simultaneously. It does not matter. It's really just whoever happens to check their email and access the documents first. And one other question we just got, someone has asked if this webinar or full instructions will eventually be in the Help and Learning Center at some point. Yes, they surely will. In the interim, I do have an email at the end of today's webinar that I'll provide if you need any step-by-step instructions in the interim before they're available on the site. So you can add additional signers in if you want to do that. You can also now, you have the option to add a reviewer. And this is an option that was not currently available in ZipLogix Digital Ink as it is right now. So this is a brand new option where we can add a reviewer in. So I might just check someone and add them in. So in this case, if someone is a reviewer, maybe a document doesn't necessarily necessitate a signing task for that person. They don't really need to sign, but you want them just to be party to the information inside of that document. So in that case, you can add someone as a reviewer, meaning that they'll be sent the documents during the signing process, and they'll just have to verify that they accept the documents. This might be good in terms of maybe you want to loop in a transaction coordinator, or maybe you want to loop in your broker. You can add them as a reviewer, even if the documents don't necessarily have a signing task for them per se. The CC list is still available. CC list allows you to add anyone who is not a signer to the correspondence. This means that they will not be party to the actual signing process, but they will receive completed copies of the documents once everyone has signed them. And it gives a little blurb about that and how that works right up at the top. And you can see that you can individually add new people to the carbon copy list. Maybe I want to add my broker in here or a transaction coordinator. I can add that information in and then just click save. And when we click on the CC list now, we can see that Bill was added to our carbon copy list. And we can also click on the add person icon. That will give us access to our contacts where we can pull that information from either our transaction parties or from another applicable source. And I see that a couple questions have come in, so I will go ahead and answer those before I move on.
I was going to tell you, if for any reason you need me to stop or go back or anything, let me know. Okay?
Okay, I'm good.
Someone has asked, what if you uncheck the signing order box? So all this is going to do is unsave this option. So it's going to basically keep those same preferences that our signers are all signing simultaneously. So signing order is really only to enable a specific, I want this person to sign first, then second, then third, and so on. If you uncheck it, it's basically simultaneous signing. Someone has asked, is a reviewer a go, no-go decision before the packet moves on? Yes. So if someone is added as a reviewer, before the packet is complete, that reviewer will have to look and just accept that because they are actually a signing party now. Well, I shouldn't say per se, a signing party. So they're someone who is part of the e-signature packet. If you don't want someone, a packet to have to be contingent upon someone reviewing it, you might want to add them to the CC list instead. And someone has asked, should the reviewer be number one, and how do they note changes needed before going to clients? That's a great question. So it really just depends on your particular use case where you would put the reviewer. We can actually circle back to that a little bit more when I demonstrate what it would look like from a reviewer's perspective. So let me circle back to that question in just a little bit. One of our attendees has asked, if you don't have a signing order and someone is on the CC list, will they get a copy of the documents before they are signed, or will it wait until they are signed to send them a copy? Yeah, so it will wait until after everyone has completed their signing tasks on the documents before the CC list individuals receive copies of those documents. So they're only receiving documents of the completely executed documents. Everyone signed, everything's complete and ready to go. All right. Okay, any more questions on this step 2, select parties, or if not, we'll move on. All right. So again, we've clicked e-sign and established a new signing packet. I had mentioned that this is a 3-step process. The first step, of course, just to review, was selecting the forms that we want to send for signature. The second step was selecting the parties that we want to sign those forms. And now this third step here that we're about to enter into is going to be the step where we are able to set up the documents to ensure that they're signed in the appropriate location. So we'll go over to the right-hand side and click next. And this is where we're actually moving into the portion of the new ZipLogix Digital Ink, which is powered by Authentisign. So if you're used to sending packets with ZipLogix Digital Ink currently, you may notice that this is the step where things start to look a little bit visually different. Yes. The first thing that you may notice is, as opposed to your signers being listed in a drop-down on top right now, they are now located on the right-hand side of the screen. Basically the same functionality, just a different location. So we can toggle between our signers in order to ensure that they're placed appropriately on the documents. All of your fillable forms are going to be generally, I should say about 99% of the time, will be pre-tagged properly. So your document should reflect that the global fields that you entered in are feeding into the document and properly tagging the signature tasks. So because, for example, Bob Buyer was our buyer 1, it is giving us a preview as an initial here of where Bob is going to sign. It seems like it goes without saying, but I will mention anyway, this is obviously not Bob's signature or initials here. It's just indicating to us where he is going to be signing the document. And the same holds true for Brenda here, who has an initial task down at the bottom here. All right, and we also have a signing task here for our selling agent. And we'll just continue to scroll through. You can see that the documents are auto-dated as well. So in this example, when Brenda clicks to sign, it will automatically date stamp exactly what time she signed as well, hence the time zone that you have to configure. Once we've scrolled all the way through this fillable form, from our forms library, we're going to run into the PDF copy of it. Now, the only reason that I added a PDF copy of the same form is just to show you the difference between how those fillable forms behave in ZipLogix Digital Ink 2.0 versus how PDF forms behave. A PDF, because it is a document that you pulled into ZipForm Plus from an outside source, is not going to pre-tag automatically. So if you've pulled in a PDF document that's not from your forms library, you'll want to navigate over to the right-hand side of the screen and click where it says drag and drop. You may be familiar with a similar feature that is currently in ZipLogix Digital Ink that is called the signing editor, and that is located, it's a little kind of blue area that's located on the left-hand side of the screen. That is now over here as well on the right-hand side. Now from here, you can choose your signature task and simply drag and drop it on the form. So in this example, I'm going to select my buyer here, and I'm going to click on drag and drop, and I see that he has an initial task needed. So I'm going to drag and drop that initial task to the appropriate location. And I'll do the same for our buyer 2 here. Initial here, I'm going to just drag and drop this to the appropriate location. So again, this would be how a PDF document or a document that you brought in from outside of ZipForm Plus would behave within the e-signing system. You will have to drag and drop tasks to PDF documents. However, all of your documents from your state or local libraries should automatically be pre-tagging like the one that you saw above. You can also pull in a date stamp. We'll use this as an example. This is requiring a buyer signature. So we would grab, in this case, this sign here and drag and drop that. And we may also want to add in a date stamp. So again, we're just going to drag and drop that over here. All right. And you can use the same process to add an optional signature. You can also add an optional initial, meaning that the signer can choose, obviously, to opt out of signing or initialing there. There's also options for a radio button or to type in a signer name, initial pages, and a drag and drop checkbox or an optional checkbox. So you have the option to add all of these onto your forms if you choose to do so. If you ever wonder what one of these options are, you can simply hover over it, as I'm doing now, and you can see what that option actually does. So if I wanted to add, say, a mandatory checkbox, I can drag and drop something, and that's going to be reflected then on the document. If you ever want to delete a signature task, just click on it and click on the little trash can icon, and that will remove that signature task from the document. Okay, someone asked, currently the date defaults with the signature being dragged onto a form. Is that no longer the case? That's a great question. So you may have noticed above with the form that pre-tagged automatically, which was our fillable form, that the date stamp oops, this may still be the PDF, sorry about that, that the date stamp auto dated. So that is going to be the case in any fillable form that you send through eSign. It is going to auto date automatically. So it is only on PDF documents that you would have to drag and drop a date. And that's the same as it's always been. And then over on the right, you also have options for your markup tools. Whether or not your state permits strikeout is going to affect what options you see that are available here. But inside of some accounts, there will be a highlight option as well as strikeout and also text. So some form editing tools. You also have the option to zoom in on documents now. You can click and make the screen a little bit bigger so you can hone in on exactly what information you need to manipulate or change. You can also click on the zoom out button, obviously the same function, but just in reverse. You may notice that instead of the drop down that allows you to toggle between documents that you're seeing in the current ZipLogix digital ink, an option to toggle between pages is now available on the right-hand side. So if we click on page, in this case, 8 of 14, we have this little option that allows us to scroll all the way to the end of a document or all the way to the beginning, or to click on these icons in the middle and just move page by page through the document, like so. We also have options below to clear one of the tasks that you've added or to print and download the form as it stands right now. And of course, we also have our option for help. This allows you to jump in and access a page that's going to instruct you on how to use this process. And this is still currently in process. So if you have any questions about how to use it in the interim, feel free to email us. You can email me at training@ziplogix.com. I'll have that email address coming up again later. All right.
Well, that sounds pretty self-explanatory. So,
Clarify about the stamps.
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds pretty self-explanatory. Do you want to go and try to set yours up with a template?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because at the end, it's going to take practice to master it. You know, I mean, there's no way I'm going to magically know how to do everything at once. But I mean, it's as you say, I mean, very clear. So what should I do? What do you suggest?
So go to your ZipForms, ZipForm.
Okay, let me see. And
first thing you have to do is set up your settings.
so do I close this or something?
Yeah.
How do I get out of this?
Is there a back button, or
do I just hit the cross?
Me, and you have to put your information in at the top?
Me. Oh, I need to update this.
Oh, yes. So go to your template. So you just have a lease form template. That's the only template you have.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to do more templates. You need to import a buyer tenant rep agreement, a purchase agreement, offer
And where do I get these templates?
You're going to make them. So you're going to click on new. Yeah, cancel that.
Okay, new.
Let's do a new purchase or offer. It really doesn't matter on that because you're going to create it here. So your template name is going to be a buyer tenant rep agreement. That will be the first one. Buyer tenant
rep agreement.
Okay. No, click residential.
Uh-huh.
And then click save. Okay, so you see over to the right where it says all forms?
Yeah.
Yeah, click that. So the drop down where it says Houston Association of Realtors, go to all. Click the drop down, the blue button,
Here.
up, all the way up.
Oh. Oh, here.
Yeah, click all.
Oh.
So to show you what that is, go back to where it says select the library so I can explain that to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Houston Association, you've got the Texas, you've got NAR, and okay, one of them is Trek and one is Texas. So all of them have different forms. So just to, if you don't know who exactly created the form, go ahead and click on all.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you catch them. Now, what is the sync? Generic brochure.
You know, I don't know if I heard that before. The sync. You want me to Google it? Just.
I don't know what that is. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but I've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm. I don't recall seeing it either.
I
Sync.
wonder if that's something new with this new platform of 2.0.
It says Cinch Home Services. It's like insurance. It says home warranties in Google. I'm Googling on my phone.
Or who that is.
Make home protection easy.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now we got yours set up, I'm going to share my screen and show you what my templates look like. And
Okay.
you can write down the numbers and then go back and fill the information in on them. Okay, so
Okay.
let me stop recording and then you stop sharing.
Okay.